ne ke supa gone ra rapela phakela go ra re tla tsena hela mo dikganyeng gompieno re na le ba higher education re simola ka di-introductions mme ka ga ke ba bona ba le palo ka teng ke tsa gore introduction will be limited to the top table ke bidiwa Taolo Boipuso Lucas ke mo parlamente wa go birwa ke modulasetilo wa committee ya parlamente ya public accounts ke a leboga honorable members
ke bidiwa go Telepetse Lesedi wa parlamente ko Serowe South ke le local committee.
Dumela motshokologong ya letsatsi ke bidiwa Victor Billy Phologolo parlamente wa Kanye West, member of this committee and chair of finance and estimates. Thank you.
Dumelang ke bidiwa go retetse ke kgonegile mo parlamente wa Maun East.
Dumelang betso. Ke bidiwa Sam Dirwa, the government whip. Modulasetilo wa committee ya local government and ke bidiwa ke rile ke bidiwa Sam Dirwa ke mo parlamente wa Boteti West kgaolo e tshwaetse headquarters ke tsenyane ke le local committee.
tima go tsena honorable Tausi
ke bidiwa Palelo Motaosani ke le local committee member of parliament for Thamagakumakwane. Thank you.
Dumelang ke bidiwa Blanche Mabeo, member of parliament for Kamalete ke le local committee.
Thank you very much honorable members the three AGs le ka re ipolelela attorney general, Lieutenant General, accountant general.
Dumelang bagaetsho ke bidiwa Patrina Monekwe ke metsa accountant general.
Dumelang ke bidiwa Janet Magana, deputy auditor general. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Name for the record are Tel Seleto for the Parliamentary Council's office. Thank you.
Thank you so much advisor.
Dumelang bagolo ke bidiwa ga Mangolebele ke nna ke gakololang committee ka dikgang tsa accounting le audit. Thank you.
Thank you so much lo ka re ipolelela batho betso ya ke ne ke gakolola gongwe re tse ro e hapele le bangwe ba ka ba nopolang ka kwa ba ba bona le di-candidates tsa go ikanisiwa.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair. Naki Vidua Richard Tabulawa. I'm the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Higher Education.
Thank you. Dumelang batsadi, ke bidiwa Molokera Letobana, mothusa mokwaledi go lephateng la thuto e kgolwane.
Good afternoon. Na ke bidiwa go dira ona Elias Mabati, ke chief accountant mo ministry.
Hey. O batla
Ya dumedisa botsadi ke bidiwa Yolinda Baletlwa, acting DPS higher education and training.
Dumelang botsadi bidiwa Umphemetse Rankosha, Department of Health Sciences and Education. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dumelang bagolo ke bidiwa Noi Masaka, I'm the finance manager for higher education.
Okay. Ke dumela gore
Dumelang batsadi ke bidiwa Dintla Rapo ke acting director of Lephata la Teacher Training and Development.
Remember teacher training yesterday. Thank you. Ke tsa gore ba heletse ha ile re mongwe ka tlhokagala gore re mo itse go tla nna hela jang mme ka ha re tsamaisang ka teng hano re simolola ka gore bone ba e leng gore ke ba tshwara teu ba ikana ra ba ikanisa gore ba tle ba kgone ba bue ba le mo maikanong gore ha ba ka se ba bua nnete go tle go nne le ditlamorago. Prof gore a go ta simolola wena. Can you please help?
Thank you, Moderator. Ha le gore ga ke ha
affirmation. Okay, you know, I like affirmation. Thank you so much, Prof. Utansala morago. Your right hand up. I,
Richard Tabulawa,
swear that the evidence I shall give
before
this Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How would you receive Bible, Prof?
Look, as I receive Bible, horar dumel momudimo.
Nya, ora na le tumero tsa gago. Okay. O tshwana le caterpillar ikwama. Le no na ikana ka tsela e harologane. Former member. E wena o dirisa Bible?
Yes.
O tla ntsala morago. I,
Mulukira Letobana,
swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God. Thank you so much. Ka tsholetsa le go la le le tshwanetseng o ntsha le morago. I,
Fuderaune Elias Makwati,
swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God. Thank you so much. Le ba wetse ba o soloelang gore ba ta araba dipotso, Prof.
Accountant, particularly the accountant. The accountant.
Hey.
Mama Saka ka hloka ho bua.
Hey. Okay. Kia leboga. O tla ntshala morago. I,
Yolinda Baletlwa,
swear by Almighty God
that
the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God. A leboga. Kana ene o na re ke maemo ke Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary. Thank you very much. Hira, o Bible. Thank you. Tansala morago. I, swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this Committee of Parliament shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God. Ra leboga. Okay. Let's go. Ni bari rapo kana maemo ke Okay. Okay. Maybe le pata le le na le kgang ya gore ga go abandon the TTC di walla monare go ngota thousands right so my moke
Ka go support lokwe acting manager facilities management.
Oh, okay. Ke ne mo ngwa dikgang. Okay. Repoto go nya o ska tsaya ga botse ba bo bua hala. O tansala mara repoto. I
Ka go support lokwe.
Swear by Almighty God.
Swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give.
That the evidence that I shall give.
Before this committee of parliament.
Before this committee of parliament.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing else but the truth.
And nothing else but the whole truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much, Rapotokwe. Hares na go dira jalo. Re ta bo re kopa Chief Executive Officer, the County Officer gore a re neele executive summary. Executive summary e ta re neelang a window into the past, present, and the future, basically giving us your mandate. In addition to that, re solohela gore o ra arabela dikgang tse neng rata ka tsone mo session e hitile ya PAC. Re ka hata sa kgatelo e tona thata mo setšhabeng gore re na le go bua dikgang ha mme go tsoa go nne di follow up. So re solohela gore dikgang tse re ne re di supile mo nako e hitileng o tla re di arabela prof. Me o ka simolola we want to give you 10 minutes but it will make it 12 because go na le gore o answer dikgang tse di tswa mo PAC report. Thank you so much. You may proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair. I will try as much as possible to fit my presentation in the 12 minutes that I've been given. Mr. Chairman, the Minister of Higher Education is mandated to provide policy direction, regulatory oversight, and coordination of the tertiary education and skills development sector. Central to this mandate is the development of a skilled, innovative, and globally competitive workforce that supports Botswana's transition to a diversified and knowledge-based economy through human capital development, skills transformation, and alignment of education outcomes with the labor market's demand. The establishment of the ministry reflects a strategic shift to provide focused leadership on post-secondary education, skills development, research, and innovation, in support of national development priorities, including the Botswana Economic Transformation Program and Vision. The ministry has a number of functions, but I'll just cite a few. One of them is skills development, technical and vocational education training, education policy management, education research, education curriculum and standards development. Now, our ministry endeavors to align its programs and reforms with national priorities, particularly the Botswana Economic Transformation Program, which seeks to drive economic diversification, enhance productivity, and create sustainable employment. Now, over the period under consideration, we have made some achievements, a few of which I would want to enumerate here. They include expansion of access to tertiary education through student sponsorship programs, administered under the Department of Shared Tertiary Education Financing, particularly the first degree level and where required up to postgraduate level for professions that require advanced qualifications for practice such as psychology. Now, as at 21st April 2026, total tertiary enrollment stood at 42,223 students, comprising 41,318 local students, which is 98%, of which 28,515, which is 69%, are in public institutions, and 12,803, which is 31%, are in private institutions, and 905 external students, which is 2%. This reflects continued government commitment to widening access to tertiary education while balancing public and private sector participation in skills development. The ministry implemented student support and allowance reforms aimed at improving student welfare and learning conditions. A phased approach has been adopted for this reform. Phase 1 involved the first critical intervention was alignment of allowances for brigade students with those of all other tertiary institutions. Implemented in August 2025, this measure corrected disparities and established a uniform baseline, reinforcing the principle of equity across the entire higher education and vocational training spectrum. Phase 2, which started in April 2026, the ministry concluded its policy review, approving significant increase in living allowances. With effect from 1st May 2026, a 14.6% increment moved the standard student allowance rate to 2.2. The ministry has produced the draft TVET policy aimed at strengthening technical and vocational education and training, which has since been presented to Cabinet and awaits presentation in Parliament during its next sitting. Work on the Higher Education Act has commenced. These initiatives are aligned to the BTEP pillars that emphasize industrialization, private sector growth, and increased citizen participation in the economy. The ministry continues to foster collaboration with stakeholders to improve the quality of education and alignment of graduate skills with the labor market needs. Partnerships with stakeholders such as Koemakau, MMG, and DBS have been strengthened through MOUs to support industry-relevant training, workforce development, and skills alignment with the labor market demands. These efforts should strengthen technical and vocational education and training programs, leading to enhanced, improved graduate employment. Now, in the area of research and innovation, the ministry supported strategic initiatives at the Botswana International University of Science and Technology, BUST, including the launching of the BOTSAT-1 satellite project, which marked a major milestone in Botswana's space science and technology development efforts, promoting research commercialization. Now, the ministry intensified stakeholder engagement through nationwide visits by the Honorable Minister to education and training institutions, where engagements were held with student representative councils through meetings with SRCs, presidents, as well as executive management teams and governing boards or councils of state-owned enterprises under the ministry. These engagements strengthened collaboration, accountability, and responsiveness within the sector. The launch of the anti-corruption policy underscores the ministry's commitment to transparency, ethical conduct, and zero tolerance for corruption, further reinforcing good governance practices across the subject sector. Now, these achievements notwithstanding, the ministry has faced daunting challenges, some of which are, the Auditor General's report has identified several challenges, including weaknesses in governance and oversight frameworks, inefficiencies in expenditure management, and student sponsorship administration. These challenges have implications for the effective delivery of the ministry's mandate and may limit the full realization of the BTEP objectives if not adequately addressed. One major challenge is inadequate financial resources to support student sponsorships, allowances, and infrastructure development. Pressure on government funding has increased with the growing demand for tertiary education, making it difficult to fully meet the needs of institutions and students. The ministry also continues to face infrastructure and capacity constraints. Several institutions, classrooms, laboratories, workshops, and student accommodation need upgrading to support modern learning. Limited resources have slowed maintenance and expansion of facilities, while growing enrollments continue to put pressure on existing infrastructure. A significant challenge is this mismatch between graduate skills and labor market needs. Many graduates leave tertiary institutions without the practical, technical, and entrepreneurial skills required by employers. This has contributed to graduate unemployment and highlights the need for stronger alignment between curriculum and industry expectations. Now, what interventions then do we have in place or we intend to put in place to address some of these challenges? We are determined to enhance our internal controls, standardize reporting processes, and strengthen compliance and regulatory enforcement, and improve coordination amongst key sector institutions. Now, in alignment with the BTEP, the ministry is also prioritizing the digitalization of systems, such as student loan administration system, introduction of performance-based funding models, and strengthening of partnerships with industry to support work-integrated learning and entrepreneurship. We intend to intensify implementation of targeted interventions aimed at improving efficiency, accountability, and outcomes. These include scaling up TVET programs to address skills gaps in priority economic sectors, such as agriculture, mining, and so forth. Particular emphasis will be placed on ensuring that public investments in education and training deliver value for money and contribute meaningfully to economic transformation. Comprehensively addressing audit observations raised by the PAC to support the successful implementation of the BTEP. Through sustained reforms and strengthened oversight, the ministry aims to ensure that the tertiary education sector effectively contributes to Botswana's long-term economic growth, job creation, and global competitiveness. Now, on the human resource front, the ministry has an establishment of approximately 4,118 officers covering institutions across 3 departments, including the Administrative Department of Tertiary Education Financing. Now, following the consolidation of the departments during the government rationalization exercise in November 2024, several long-standing human resource management challenges have emerged during the transition period, and these include: 1, litigation stemming from disparities in allowances and inconsistencies in the implementation of conditions of service. 2, shortage of staff, accommodation, and student housing. And 3, general manpower shortages to support institutional growth. Now, the ministry deeply values its ongoing collaboration with the public sector unions and remains committed to fostering constructive engagement on matters affecting the workforce and the broader education sector. Other issues such as career stagnation and the lack of capacity building are being addressed with the urgency and care required to ensure seamless transition. Now, when it comes to the financial performance during 2022-2023 financial year, this for the recurrent budget, the warranted provision for the former Minister of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology was 3,263,601,920 pula, of which 3,246,778,529 pula, or 99.48% of the total budget, was spent as at 31st March 2023. The ministry continues to face challenges in terms of financing of tuition fees as the budget ceiling is constrained. Now, when it comes to revenue collection, the approved revenue estimates for 2022-23 was 33,084,740 pula, and the total collection was 31,300,000 and just a minute. $373,707 pula, or 94.82% of the estimated revenue. Now, when it comes to the development budget, the ministry was allocated a revised budget of 207,336,800 pula. The total spending for the year amounted to 114,467,766 pula, which is 55.2% of the revised budget. Now, there is one item, Chair, that was omitted from the report because it was misallocated to the Ministry of Basic Education, and this had to do with paragraph 14 on supplementary estimates. Now, the Ministry of Education and Skills Development had a supplementary estimate of 810,590 pula. The Ministry of Education and Skills Development was approved a supplementary budget of that amount under the financial paper number 2 of 22-23 dated February 2023. The amount was requested for the Department of Teacher Training and Technical Education to increase student allowances, which was adjusted to cushion students against the effects of inflation. This supplementary budget was fully utilized in the year under review. In other words, it was 100% utilized. The ministry remains committed, in conclusion, Chair, to strengthening governance, improving financial discipline, and ensuring value for money. Ongoing reforms are expected to improve sustainability, accountability, and service delivery. The ministry stands ready to provide further clarification to the Public Accounts Committee. Now, I will move on, Chair, as per your advice, to the PAC resolutions. Resolution number 28, made at the 61st PAC meeting of 2025.
Yep.
And I have a number of them, Chair.
Yes.
The first one is investigate fraud allegations against the CITF Chief Executive Officer, who was suspected of forging signatures of fellow board members to get a contract renewed, or contract renewal. Now, on the 21st June 2024, the CITF Board of Trustees formally terminated the employment contract of the former executive director. While the board did not publicly disclose the specific grounds for dismissal at the time of the resolution, the action followed serious internal concerns regarding his professional conduct. Prior to the termination, allegations surfaced suggesting that the former executive director had fraudulently tampered with official documents. Due to the nature of the allegations, the matter was subjected to scrutiny by the Directorate of Intelligence and Security Services and the Directorate of Corruption and Economic Crime. The DIST conducted an initial inquiry into the matter. Their findings concluded that the former executive director had a case to answer regarding the alleged document tampering. Following their conclusion, the DIST officially handed the case file over to the DCEC to determine the viability of criminal prosecution. The matter remains with the DCEC. Despite the referral from the DIS, no formal update has been received regarding the progress of the investigation or any potential prosecution.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's number one.
Number two, explore ways of addressing the funding constraints in order to diversify the course offerings at CITF. That is the Construction Industry Trust Fund. Now, historically, the CITF training focused primarily on bricklaying to satisfy its original mandate under statutory instrument number 139 of 1991. Section 3 of the instrument specifically tasked the fund with financing crash training programs to produce semi-skilled artisans and craftsmen, such as bricklayers, carpenters, and painters, plasterers, and so forth, for the construction industry only. Despite this narrow focus, the CITF expanded its curriculum to include welding, electrical, plumbing, civil construction, and industrial mechatronics. However, budget constraints have limited these advanced offerings to the Gaborone Main Center. Now, under NDP 12, the organization is undergoing a significant transformation. Now rebranded as the Rapid Skills Development Center, RSDC, its new mandate is much broader: to provide training to citizens, regardless of their formal education level, across diverse sectors, including agriculture, mining, tourism, and indigenous knowledge systems. To support this, a project is underway to expand training at Tamaga, Mureumaotu, Chadibe, Nkange, and Sinyawe Rapid Skills Centers. This expansion will introduce electrical, plumbing, and welding courses, alongside other trades tailored to support local economies. As a way of supporting the operationalization of the envisaged expansion of programs, the ministry will utilize funding from the Rapid Skills Development Fund. In accordance with the fund order, the purpose of the fund is to pay for all relevant expenses to provide for training in various trades for which the fund was created. And this fund resides with the Bank of Botswana. Now, Resolution 3, to provide an update on the proposed increase in allowances for brigade students and establish the government position on the possible increase of other tertiary students' allowances. The Ministry of Higher Education reaffirms its strategic commitment to raising the standard student allowance to 2.5. This policy objective remains central to our vision of equitable student welfare and the creation of an enabling environment for academic success. While the immediate realization of this target has been constrained by the prevailing national economic climate, the ministry has adopted a deliberate phased strategy to honor this commitment in a fiscally sustainable manner. This approach ensures steady progress without compromising broader macroeconomic stability. Notwithstanding these challenges, the Ministry of Higher Education has taken a gradual approach to fulfilling this commitment. And these are the phases that I referred to earlier on. Phase 1, which was the very first critical intervention, was alignment of our allowances for brigade students with those of other tertiary institutions. Implemented in August 2025, this measure corrected disparities and established a uniform baseline, reinforcing the principle of equity across the entire higher education and vocational training spectrum. Phase 2, in April 2026, the ministry concluded its latest policy review, approving significant increase in living allowances with effect from 1st May 2026, a 14.6 increment moved the standard rate to 2.2, representing measurable progress towards the 2.5 target. The revised target rates are as follows. Off-campus allowance increased from 1,919.70 tebe to 2.2. On campus, that is full boarding, allowance increased from 296 pula 30 tebe to 339 pula 60 tebe. On campus, self-catering, allowance increased from 1,550 pula 50 tebe to 1,776 pula 90 tebe. Resolution 4, provide a comprehensive report on the accredited colleges showing the amount of public funds spent on sponsoring students to these colleges and how that can be that money can be recouped. Now, the response of the ministry is as follows. Now, according to the BQA, that is Botswana Qualifications Authority, Regulation 201, a person wishing to operate an education and training provider is required to apply to the authority for registration and accreditation. Furthermore, the BQA Regulation 2026 states that an ETP, that is an education and training provider that wishes to offer learning programs, is required to apply to the authority for accreditation for such learning programs. Consequently, BQA regulated ETPs are mandated to offer only accredited learning programs. While the authority acknowledges the possibility, and a very remote possibility, of some providers offering unaccredited programs, it has established monitoring mechanisms to detect and combat such practices. If instances of ETPs offering unaccredited learning programs are identified, appropriate action is taken against the offense. Now, the ministry is aware of some public misconceptions regarding the official status of learning programs delivered prior to the implementation of the National Credit and Qualifications Framework, NCQF. This ambiguity arises from institutional shifts in quality assurance terminology and evaluation methodologies. The criteria for validating a learning program's fitness for purpose differs significantly between the legacy and the current frameworks. Now, the current frameworks, the Botswana Qualifications Authority utilizes the term accreditation to signify formal learning program quality assurance and delivery approval. Now, for legacy programs, the precursor regulatory body, which was the Tertiary Education Council, employed a diverse nomenclature to grant official recognition and approval of learning programs. Now, I'm not going to go into those in detail, but let me just point out that it is worth noting that the Botswana Training Authority, which was brought in the past, was mandated to oversee the quality assurance of technical and vocational education and training offerings. Within this specific regulatory framework, accreditation was established as the recognition status used to confirm official validation and learning program approval. Now, the ministry maintains the ongoing delivery of legacy programs that demonstrate continuous compliance with established quality assurance standards. To ensure regulatory continuity and mitigate public ambiguity, these learning programs remain operational under their original recognition status. Now, accordingly, the absence of accreditation terminology does not imply a deficiency in learning programs, quality or regulatory oversight. In other words, the programs that existed before the NCQF came into being are as legitimate as those that have been accredited by the BQA under the NCQF. Rather, it indicates that these legacy learning programs achieved formal recognition under a historical framework, utilizing a classification nomenclature distinct from the current National Credit and Qualifications Framework. So, in short, the ministry neither sponsors students at unregistered students nor into unaccredited learning programs. In other words, the ministry sponsors students into legacy programs that are recognized as well as NCQF compliant programs that are accredited. Resolution 5 provide a report on target 20,000 and how the graduates could be assisted in their academic professional development. Now, the ministry response goes as follows. The Ministry of Tertiary Education, Research, Science and Technology launched the Target 20,000 project in 2016 with the aim of upskilling and empowering out-of-school and unemployed youth to make them ready for industry uptake. Trainees had the freedom to select their preferred programs from a pool of over 180 qualifications offered across more than 24 local institutions. Notably, all selected programs were sourced from institutions accredited by or registered with recognized competent authorities, such as the Human Resource Development Council and relevant government departments. The programs themselves were either formally accredited or established under legitimate legacy frameworks. On concerns that the graduates did not derive meaningful academic and professional development opportunities from the program, it is worth noting that the project terminated in 2019 and the ministry is unable to retool the trainees due to financial scarcity. Going forward, the ministry, through the Botswana Qualifications Authority, is strengthening alignment of training programs with labor market demands and intensified industry partnerships for curriculum development, workplace attachment, and internships. Resolution number 6 provide a report on efforts made to improve the collection rates of outstanding student loans. Now, the response is debt collections remains a challenge due to the manual administration of sponsorship, resulting in lack of readily available data to generate loan statements to facilitate loan recoveries. Furthermore, unemployment rates continue to rise, coupled with defaulting beneficiaries due to retrenchments and deaths. Now, what are the interventions then that we intend to put in place In an effort to prioritize and divert efforts towards revenue collection, the ministry has prioritized the following projects for 2026-2027. Backlog project. These are the interventions for the data collection from student loans. The first one is backlog project. We have a project on clearing the backlog that we have. Now, this will entail updating beneficiary academic and finance profiles for over 150,000 beneficiaries in order to generate loan statements and facilitate revenue collections. This could not be carried out in 2025-26 due to lack of resources. Under the BTEP, DTEF has submitted a project memorandum with resources required to submit its loan recovery efforts. In other words, we are going to make an effort this time to process all the 150,000 beneficiary profiles and create loan statements, which will then be furnished to those who are in arrears. Secondly, there is going to be a review of the loan agreement to incorporate additional provisions, such as one, to enhance compliance and enforceability by reviewing the memorandum of agreement to include a clause that allows the beneficiaries to give consent to their future employers to share their information with the ministry. One of the challenges we have faced here is that some of the employers refuse to give us information on their employees because of, and they often cite the Data Protection Act. Secondly, the ministry will set up a data protection and management office that will deal with ensuring that employers give information about the sponsored beneficiaries. Now, the second project is the DTEP system upgrade and maintenance. The department awards tertiary education financing through the grant loan scheme using the student loan management system. The upgrading is intended to automate all core business processes within the sponsorship administration through interfaces with key stakeholders such as BRS in order to bring efficiency in academic monitoring, disbursement of funds, and loan recoveries. It is envisaged that the system will provide up-to-date, accurate, and real-time data on reports and increase ease of accessibility for clients through the online system platform. Now, it is worth noting, Chair, that at the moment, this system has got 4 modules, and only one module is automated. That is the student placement. Loan recoveries, students' progress, and so forth are not. And this system that we will be putting in place will automate those 3 remaining modules. And we hope that will improve recovery rates. Thank you so much, Chair. I think that was the last resolution.
Was it the last? Something to do with the
maybe,
milk parlor?
the milk. Oh, sorry.
Something to do with the milk
Oh,
parlor?
no, sorry. I had a page on top of my. Now, this is the 7th one. Provide a detailed report, yes, on the milk parlor projects at Tonota College of Education, showing the amount of money lost in the project. The Tonota College of Education milk parlor project was constructed in 1993 to support training of agriculture teachers. The parlor was designed for a capacity of 200 dairy cows, but was never tested owing to insufficient dairy cattle population. Over the years, the ministry has made attempts to operationalize the facility through partnership with stakeholders or private entities, and all these have been unsuccessful. Consequently, the Ministry of Higher Education recommends renting out the milking parlor or disposing of it through auction, either as a complete unit or by components. In other words, dismantling the parlor and auctioning the various parts that constitute it. The total project cost is approximately 2,055,000 pula. That was then, 1993. This comprises of 2 million pula in capital expenditure and 55,000 pula in operational costs. It is worth noting that the ministry auctioned some dairy cattle in 2023, and 24,000 pula was generated from that. The ministry submits a detailed report on the Tonota milking parlor project, and it's attached here as Annexure 1. We are informed that the current value of the milk parlor is around 14 million pula. Resolution 8, the accounting officer to provide reports on the following: overpayment of salaries in the ministry and how they will be recovered. Now, international and common practice is that payment of salaries is done in arrears. And as such, this poses a risk of overpayment due to retirements, resignations, or death, which may occur before the end of the month or before one completes the work days per month cycle. Now, for the year ending March 2023, the ministry had 8 cases of salary overpayments, and 6 have been cleared or closed, while the remaining 2 are ongoing. This also reflects an improvement in the recovery of salary overpayments. The ministry experiences slow progress in recoveries of salary overpayment for the remaining cases due to the fact that the debtors are no longer working for the ministry and in some instances are unemployed. It remains a challenge to obtain up-to-date addresses of those who have joined the private sector or retired from the public service. Debtors who have some difficulties in repaying have been advised to make a repayment plan, hence the slow recovery. It has been established that the causes for these overpayments are usually due to some of the following. 1, late notification of termination of employment by administrative officers. 2, resignation from the public service by check, stroke without serving notice. And 3, failure of systems, in other words, systems not communicating or updating for preparation, updating and misallocation by officers. As intervention measures, the ministry will intensify processes for preparation of officers exiting the public service and ensure that all debts are thoroughly checked prior to their departure. 1, officers are advised to make notification for termination or retirement on time, even 4 months before termination date. Strengthening operational standards with regard to processing of terminal benefits, provide checks and balances by oversight, heads of departments to avoid salary overpayments, capacitate all officers processing terminal benefits across the department so as to strengthen controls, and put measures for payroll verification before final payroll processing by Ministry of Finance. And lastly, surcharging negligent officers. The other one is the motor vehicle accidents and how the accompanying losses can be reduced. Now, the ministry had 9 cases under motor vehicle accidents, and out of these, 5 have been closed or cleared. The remaining cases are ongoing as follow-ups are being made. Out of these 3 cases involve third parties, of which 1 has been cleared and 2 are still pending, awaiting responses from the Attorney General, where assistance was requested to follow and trace the debtors. The ministry has made progress in resolving surcharge cases of motor vehicle accidents, leading to reduction of loss of public funds. The delays in processing surcharge cases are mainly attributed to the fact that there were no transport officers in the ministry, as the transport duties were an added responsibility of the administration officers. Hence, the limited carryover or non-completion of proceedings of surcharge cases in institutions. As an intervention to reduce motor vehicle cases and avoid recurrence of cases, the ministry has taken the following steps. 1, capacitation of officers. The ministry will capacitate officers handling motor vehicle cases so as to speed up their disposal within reasonable time and also avoid other procedural flaws when dealing with such cases. Defensive driving courses. Our drivers are taken through the defensive driving course or courses on a yearly basis. Drivers are also oriented or taken to short driving courses by dealerships or suppliers once new models of vehicles are introduced in the market. And we also intend to establish the transport unit. In actual fact, it has already been established. The ministry has reduced the number of cases as a result of direct monitoring of vehicles, as well as officers' performance on a daily basis. Our resolution, Roman numeral IX, a detailed report on the Institute of Health Sciences projects, Ministry of Tertiary Education and Maintenance and Silver-Pico Technical College upgrading. First, Department of Institute of Health Sciences projects. The Ministry of Tertiary Education awarded 2 tenders for maintenance of staff houses as Roe HIS and Franstown IHS, respectively, as follows. The Institute of Health Sciences in Surwe. The project named maintenance of 40 NO number staff houses at the Institute of Health Sciences Surwe. A tender, that number which is very long, was awarded to 1MJ and Getty Investments Limited for the contract sum of 3 million and 1 table. The project commenced on the 1st of May 2022 with practical expected completion date of 30th September 2022, which was a 5-month project. However, the completion date was revised to the 5th May 2023, an extension of 7 months because of the rationalization of ministries, which resulted in delays in payments, causing cash flow challenges for the contractors. The project was completed and the certificate of practical completion dated 5th May 2023 was issued. The project was completed within budget. Institute of Health Sciences in Francistown. The project named works tender for the maintenance of 50 NO staff houses of Institute of Health Sciences, Francistown, with that tender number, was awarded to 1 NYT Properties Limited as a contract for a sum of 3,177,915 pula 30 tebe. The commencement date for project implementation was 3rd May 2022, and the expected completion date was 21st September 2022. However, the completion date was revised to 16th June 2023, 9 months extension without costs because of the following reasons. There were delays. One, there were delays in the floor tile supply from the supplier. Two, the variation in work package quantities due to wrong measurements. Number three, there was shortage of geysers locally, hence these had to be imported. And fourth, living working environment for staff houses whilst maintenance was going, so that slowed the process. The 15th staff house was burnt after the tender was awarded, and the ministry did not have the budget for the burnt house to cater for the fire incident. This meant additional work, attracting a variation to the project. The total amount of 3,097,915 pula 30 tebe was paid for the finished work. Half of the retention funds have been released, and there is an outstanding amount of 41,556 111 tebe, 100 pula 11 tebe, which will be released once the project has been handed over. Due to the travel suspension, the handover will be done after June 2026. Now, as for the Ministry of Tertiary Education Maintenance, we have a list of those projects. One of them was the works of contract for maintenance, repair, and provision of 2-year contract for the chiller plant units at OCAT. OCAT is the OD College of Arts and Applied Technology. Now, this project was completed within scope, and the retention amount has been released. The second one was a contract for the refurbishment of the sewer plant treatment in OCAT. The project has been completed and retention released. The third one, contract work for maintenance of 40 student blocks at Francistown City Technical and Vocational Education College. This one is awaiting final inspection, which is still outstanding for the release of the final 50% retention. So there's a retention of those amounts to be released after the final inspection. The next one is a works contract for the maintenance and replacement of select electrical installation phase of the FCTVE. Now, this project was completed within scope. Retention release still outstanding, though. A retention of 19,004 pula 50 tebe to be paid to contractor.
How long is that list?
Sorry?
How long is the list?
The list is almost. I mean, no. I think it's.
The list of projects.
No, I still have about 3 pages more to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can hand that to ourselves, and then address the last one, which is number 10 then.
Number?
Resolution 10, X.
Oh, okay.
Lack of progression of officers of the Roads Training Center.
What is wrong with mine? Yeah, this one. Okay. Provide feedback on the lack of progression of officers at the Roads Training Center and the measures to resolve the issue. Thank you, Chair. The response is the lack of progression for the officers at RTC can be mainly attributed to the fact that the center initially started as a project under the Roads Department and was never formalized into an institution. Consequently, did not have a scheme of service to guide its officers' progression. With RTC now being grouped with other similar technical institutions, its structure and positions will be normalized to support the institution's functions and operations. Furthermore, its positions will be standardized to match other institutions, since currently diploma offering institutions are headed at E2 salary scale, while the Roads Training Center, RTC, is headed at D2 scale. At present, the ministry's functional structure has been approved, and the deployment structure, which includes the RTC, is currently being worked on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chief Executive Officer. Mme nka se ka go emisa ka gore dikgang tseo ne o di bua ke tse re ne re batla go utlwa gore tharabololo ya tsone ke eng, more especially that ke rona ne re kopile gore dikgang tse di tlhalosiwe, mme ebile gape ya ke supa kana re mo kgatelelo e tona ya gore mme ga dikgang di sena go tswa ga PAC a mme di salwa morago, mme yana ga ntse o tlhalosa jalo go supa tse di setsweng morago re lebogela seo. Ke tsaya gore advisor, you have also noted dikgang tse di tshwanetse gore di carry to other departments. The issue of CITF and the issues around it, they are now, the issue is now with the DCEC. When DCEC comes here, ke tsaya gore o ta gakolola gore ba le one ba re hatolole ka kgang eo gore tsamaya kae, mme ra itse re lebogela gone gore le re neetse a comprehensive update ya dikgang tse re ne re buile ka tsone mo nako e itileng. We encourage that at all times. Mme jaanong re tsena mo goreng mapalamente ba botse dipotso, ba clarify ha ba ka clarifyang teng, hela jalo le lona le nne le ba arabe jang. Honorable Paul.
Thank you, Chair. Dumela Prof and your team. On the response, on the resolution ya bobedi, o supile gore le lephata le ikela go dirisa di-funds tse di ko Rapid Development Fund. One would want to know gore mme gone di-funds tse di sa buiwang gore ke bokae tse. Do we know how much lies in that fund? And the intention is to target or develop the skills using the provision on a rapid skill. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I can go ahead.
sir.
Thank you, Honorable. I cannot at this point give you a definitive figure. I don't have it here. Even the number of students that we intend to accommodate through that fund, but Ghana is a project that we are still yet to embark upon. And once we determine the amount that we have and that we can use, we'll fit the number of students or staff that can be assisted through that project.
So you don't see it necessary to know, as you plan to roll out this program on Alebokai, and yet you emphasize, you indicate you're going to utilize the money. What if there's no money in the fund?
I'm quite confident, Honorable, that there is money, and I've been assured that there is money. It's only that I don't know the amount as yet. I didn't establish the amount, but I'm told that there's enough money to run the project. I don't know.
Okay. I think that can be established to those who are interested. We are dealing with money here, so it is an interest for us to speak to figures. And have nothing to show of it. Secondly, I'm looking at the program itself and was wondering program. Can you explain how the rapid skill development and ikageng are related, or operates in silo?
No, obviously, Honorable, there is a relationship between the two. Ghana Rapid Skills is meant for, it's a short-term training program. And ikageng, which I'm told used to be Ipelecheng, is also about real construction. And by Longhoriba, they are needed for the ikageng project, only the need to rapid skill them, they can be taken over there. And in any case, we also have representatives from our skills development department in the ikageng project, liaising to make sure that the two work together. And also the Rapid Skills Development Center, which used to be the CITF, is also represented there.
I hope it won't be too much to say, look into it and see how you can align the two. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're two of the same coin, really, two sides of the same coin. But the danger is if we are to do them in silo. Still on the issue, you also mentioned, and I must say I'm impressed by your interventions. It's a charge, it's a driver. But what stands out for me, we seem to have surcharges strictly meant for drivers. Has there been any officer outside a driver? And to some extent, those who collect revenue, surcharge you have for the period under review up to today?
Thank you, Honorable. You are raising an issue that I've raised in the department as well, because to the best of my knowledge, I may be wrong, I'm not aware of any officer that has been surcharged beside the drivers. And if you look at the measures that we intend putting in place to ensure that those tasked with responsibilities carry out the responsibilities. And if they fail to carry out those responsibilities, resulting in loss of government money, we are saying they will be surcharged. So in other words, yes, I agree, surcharging should not be restricted to a particular category of workers. It should be something that is done across But in short, I'm not aware of any officer other than drivers that has been charged.
Are you aware of any disciplinary hearings that may have been conducted or pending for the period under review and today?
Well, I'm aware, thank you, Honorable, I'm aware of the disciplinary actions being conducted or undertaken for drivers, but I'm not aware of any for other officers who may have been negligent in their duties.
Okay, I guess when you go along with the rest of the report, we are likely to find one or two officers who should have been summoned for disciplinary hearing. If not, that would be fair and good. On grievances, I mean, we get a report from the Ombudsman that recommendations made, they are ignored by the ministry. Do you have any grievances that may be with the Office of the Ombudsman or the Labour Office or even any court of law that you are currently dealing with?
Thank you, Honorable. Yes, we do have a number of those. In total, we've got about 67 outstanding grievances that we are handling. And I would also want to agree with you to some extent that maybe in the past the follow-ups were not that good of decisions by the ombudsman or even court orders. But I can assure you that at the moment we've got about 39 cases that are with the ombudsman, and all those are ongoing. We have got 6 cases that are with the district labor offices, and 6 of those all of them are ongoing. We have got 13 with the Attorney General, and 12 of those are ongoing, which means one has been closed. We have got 1 public service appeal tribunal case, which is ongoing, and we have got 8 public service commission cases, all of which are ongoing, and they bring that total to 67, with 66 of those ongoing.
You've got 2 minutes, Honourable Member.
Yeah, for the time under review, I mean, how many have come and you have managed to solve? And what is the time frame that you have to comply with in order to solve, to resolve some of these matters?
Those that have come to us as cases, as orders, we implement that immediately. We don't waste any more time. If it's a court order, it's a court order, it must be observed.
Have those court orders been paid where you are on the losing end?
Yes, where we are on the losing end, they have been paid, and they are being paid, and they are being processed for payment.
How often do you conduct your staff satisfaction index? Do you have anything to that effect?
Not yet. We haven't done that yet.
Is it something that you consider doing? Because we get a general impression that your staff is not satisfied.
Yes, I would say we have, maybe, let me say we have conducted those surveys, but not formally. We engage them in meetings. We have had one meeting with them, where we ask them to air their grievances, and they have. And we are in the process of convening another one with them. But I think it will be a good thing to institute formal, surveys based on indices.
My time is up, but I wish you could commit on that one. I mean, it's for the betterment of the workforce itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I guess there are 1 or 2 things that you really want to follow up on. The issue around this rapid skills and the amounts involved and the number of potential beneficiaries. We would appreciate a report in that regard. And then staff satisfaction survey, I think is a matter that you want to look at as well, and maybe present a report to us at a later date.
And the cases.
And the cases, of course, just to give us a summary of the case, particularly that of the Ombudsman, because the Ombudsman is saying a lot of you accounting officers, either you ignore or you totally disregard his recommendations. So please just give us a brief on how you have handled each of the cases and then submit to the advisor here. Honorable Dikgonegile?
Thank you. Thank you, Modula Stilo. Thank you, Modula Stilo. PS le team ya gago mere la mogele. Ra itse gore ha le leng teng ho ha go motho le tshwere ka thata re ka tswa re sa dumalane hale le hale me re le bogela gore le tshwere gongwe issue ya ntlha e nna gore kana mo Botswana ditemane di kile ebe di le dintsi hela thata di re ha go le go ntsi me le wa le hetogile malatsi a go buiwa bo sekgwama se makgwakgwa me ha re lebile ko thutong ko le tshwereng teng bana ba duelelwa ko dikweleng ha re tsora go bitswa grant kana go bitswa loan kana keng tsone dio tsa go nna jang me morago ga go duelwe but sephato sa bana ba ba duelelwang ko dikweleng tsone tsa di university tsa tertiary batsadi ba bone ba kgona go ba duelela le simolla leng seemo sa means tested gore a re duelele yo sa kgoneng yo kgonang a ituelle go gateng gape go a thusa mo generational debt e re direlang bana.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Under the BTEP, we have a project under DTEF to come up with a policy on tertiary education financing. At this point, I cannot detail how the policy is going to turn out because I think that will be preemptive. But means testing is going to be one of those considerations. We intend to have developed it by the end of this financial year. Just to give more detail, we are very soon will be submitting a project memorandum on that to the Ministry of Finance to allow us to begin the process.
Thank you. Dikoloto tsone tsa bana ba dikwele ke bonyo tsentse palo ya 150,000 gore a gore ke palo e le go pholetsang gore ke yone e kolotang potso e nna gore hale bangwe ba kile bata ba le ka gore ba ka duela ha gona information sente 150,000 o tswa go simolola kae 80s 90s kana motsahela go simolla mo malobenyana le gone gore tota mme what is it that we intend to do in terms of motivate batho ba kolotang gore ba duele o ka no ithela gongwe gone ha le rona ka kwano re wela gone go.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me point out, this fund is supposed to be a revolving fund. It becomes a very big challenge for the ministry to continue financing education. Now, we estimate Baba Kolota Madia can 5.3 billion. And this 150,000, and my colleagues are here to validate that. From the bursaries system, Bangvaruna went through in the 80s, 70s, 80s, up to now the grant loan scheme. That's the total number. And the problem that we face here is that most of the information is manual, and that information needs to be captured. Calculate the statements for the people who own. Now, what has frustrated us as a ministry is the fact that we have not had enough resources to carry out that project. And we intend during this financial year to request for money to carry it over. But
Madial ala talking to carry it out.
I'm not sure. My colleagues can, yeah. But the problem, Chair, I think is more complex than that, because remember, even more, let's just take the grant loan scheme. Around 5.3 billion is owed. Part of this, I would want to believe, is the grants. And the majority of students, most likely, BAMO some kind of grant and a combination of grant and loan, which means they are not supposed to pay. So what we intend doing henceforth is to carry out an age analysis of this group, both who are these people owing, and but the only solution to the problem, like we've said, is one, automating the system so that we can capture the information well and follow up those who owe. And more total mo leng gore ba bangwe tota ba setse ba itsamaetse ba bangwe ba se tlhole ba bereka ba bangwe ba retirile. I think we will have to consider writing off some of that debt. But going forward, now is the policy that matters. We have to come up with a policy that will allow us to follow up those who owe. At the moment, the memorandum of agreement it puts the onus who report our more the beneficiary. And most beneficiaries don't do that. Okay. And it's very difficult to trace them and find them.
Thank you, but more motivating hela. Sechaba hompieno ba itibela di pothole mo, because ba bona re se a kae ba na ba tampola ka re ke re batho go ile ba bona re se mo sa kae. Yeah, no, sorry, Honorable Paul, sorry, Honorable Paul. Yeah, Babonar Semasaka, if you can do that appeal, but we can come forward. 1, 2, 3, 5 people will make a difference. Technical colleges and brigades. Kana hona le seemo sa gore like ntso bua gore kwala go tsenya dithuto tse di ntsenyana bo construction kwala go tsenya bo plumbing kwala go tsenya boeng kana di brigade ha di simolla lanta e le gore di caterela the local community. Now you have changed it. Kore di brigade le technical colleges go tshwana hela ano le di university bana are traveling all over the country. Hore balate di technical college kwa ya no go disadvantage tse di community tse dingwe mo ile gore di boetse go mara go go heteletse. If you take the northwest community for example, ga ba ka ke ba tswa kwa bata kwane ba lata di natani due to di kgwetho tsone tsa di resources and all the sorts. Ke le sa boele hela go mara go gore the local communities in bone ba ba bona thata mo di TVET institutions sentse. le gore gape going forward job market go linka the graduates le ditiro go tshwana ke gore go nne teng e se ka re lona la producer la tswa le dampela mo strateng ya ka go diragala gompieno kana ba hetagela ka di-college tse le di-brigade tse ditiro ke rra ke bona ba tetse mo taxi ranking mme ke bo mang ba ba dirang TVET jobs da foreigners.
No, thank you, Honorable. Thank you. That two issues. Yeah, Rauta Mututege Hori. You know, we should consider making sure the students attend institutions in their areas possibly. And it's something that we also really wish could be possible. But we have to balance that with the expenses involved. So imagine if in Mau we were to have a brigade or a technical college offering all those programs. The same programs being offered Go Virwa, Go Rolong, and so forth. That will be very costly in terms of human resources. And we are very much aware of that, much as we find your suggestion very attractive. Now, what we intend doing is to cluster these institutions. Let's say, for example, Maun Technical College, a center of excellence for mining, which is what we intend doing. Which means for a child or a student who resides in Kokanyi, mining, may have to travel to Maung to do it. Wa Maung le ene habata ho dira tourism. I go Virwa. Where let's some hospitality institution as well. So I think much as that is quite desirable in terms of expenses and in terms of costs, it's a very costly exercise because we can't have all these programs run in each and every institution. That will not be sustainable. The second one.
Oh, okay.
Your time is up, sir.
Connect cluster, none gets a lot of cluster Riotara or gongwe di-course tse di measure ko bobirwa di ta nna teng as a cluster kore ha o tsaya ya Maung go na le Gumare hale go na le Shakawe hale and then the course tsotlhe ha di nna teng di le in that particular cluster then ngwana a tswa Maung ha bata course go Gumare ka Gumare ha tswa Gumare ta Maung a tswa Gumare Shakawe tswa Shakawe ta Maung go gauhi se ka iso se hansa ka nye Maung se ke sa bo makgorwane la se sa ba rona ba ba pegwang ka madi a ipelege.
Considering when we look at the clustering exercise. Now,
sa ka chaile anu o roba ka melao e re ipetseng e ona member. Honorable Iwa.
Ke a leboga modulasetilo member ke welcome team e mtsamtsai ke re ke a lo rata thata ke dumela gore lo tatsa boikarabelo jo tshwaetse mo tiro ya lona the combination ya lona go ke a itse thata mene ke re my questions are almost centered on CITF out of interest because it is my belief that CITF will help us address issues of development, poverty, unemployment, and inequality. But it seems I'm saying this because how level at the CITF mo Botswana? There are very few. Even half at the secondary schools, I will understand. And I know to for our encourage on your vocational education. It equip bana ba rona gore ba nne le di skills in the artisans and craftsmen. Ba ile gore ba ka khona go thusa kana these people ba thokala all over the country. How bua ka di skills tsa bone o ta itse ile gore di dirwa ke ma Zimbabwe tota mma ke ska ka ba thaola ke re ba ba tswa ko nte ke bona ba lebega ba dira tsone diotse gompieno re bua ka maintenance ya dikolo, maintenance ya ditsela. If we had developed these people to that level, we would be using a very little money more maintenance. Now we are using madi a mantsi just because re bata di kontraka tse di dira tiro yone ene ka dirwa ke bana ba rona at village level. So we are now as government talking about ikageng maloba yana a ne re ko kumaga le ko tsenyane. We had some of your graduates go ba ne ba dira pavement ya tsela ba bangwe ba agile classroom ko sekolo sa kumaga at a minimal cost. So that's why to take the love for this CITF. If you can do more, le hatse le re ka le isa gongwe jaanong ne ke re ke le kgothatsela gore a re akanyeng hela re di ska di a nna go le go longwe hela. You find in a district where na le CITF ile one, only one, and you see gore the mitse ya rona is scattered there. So ha re ngwana go tsena go CITF in na problem ya transport and accommodation. So my first question maybe would be, how much do you value this organization such that it appears higher director? Always acting. Why don't you have a substantive director, a head of department, an vision, a manager, a driver to a given level? So you should look very much into that. The first batch ya the CITF salon. Dikubu Muremautu, Tsao Chadibe, Honeko. It has taken you long to some other courses. What is this? Welding, plumbing, which is a new development and a welcome development. And keep out why has it taken so long? Over 5 years for to introduce it on the So the other batch, old knowledge is not working totally. We put out do we have a value for money? Old knowledge structure these are function. It are only two courses. One course, bricklaying and plastering. Total, is there need to have an institution at that level? Irana, the courses on it's a hell. Are we benefiting as a country? You should look into that. Then there is the other batch. Yabo pisani molopo sojo no joani libo kakia. Listen, me money has been used there to construct those structures. What are you saying about this? Luakanya kudiraya kutoka hata sehemu sasa urdibereke kana bana batu babako in those areas. Babata skills on it, babata kwa acquire some skills, go emisa go address tsone di issue tsene ke bua ka tsone tsa development. One se se nkgagamatsa ngore go lebega lo busitse madi a kana ka 97,869,035 lo a busitse hela go ntse go na le seemo sones. Can you account for this, or what was the reason ya gore lo se kana dirisa madi a me nna ke bona go ne go le botoka gore lo a dirise le complete some of these structures? Gongwe mma ke potso a me ya ntlha yone ke ta tsena mo go ya bobedi ne ke bua ka CITF gone go kana ke di hetse tsotlhe.
You left with 4 minutes, Honorable.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Mma ke hetse dipotso tsa mma ke hetse dipotso tsa I don't think it's 4 minutes. On khamile modula sti. last year lo keditse executive ya CITF ka 26%. Lo disregard staff se sengwe se se ko tlase. What was the reason? Ya go kgawanya staff who you are executive hela bangwe ba tlogela. Should it be the last or what?
Is the last
Yeah,
one, Honorable?
there is a challenge disregarding the recommendations of ombudsman. There is an officer on a deployer, Aisua Kukasan. Una tshwantse abone madi a gagwe a bo subsistence. Let's stay away. And nothing has been done to Umuduela. Letters have been written. You met for several times. Lubuaka ene. Is case hela ya bogologolo hela thata. Bo 2015 and so up to now, hakuna sepese se dirilwe go duela motho yo. Ke ipotsa gore what is the challenge? Umpiano re bua ka 2025. Lo diraya lo le management, because I think lo PS wrote to the particular institution ya CITF gore motho a duela, but it has PS ba gana. How can an officer have the instruction from the PS? Kikupa rumolo talo se hori ahaluna power ya kana ya. So now I feel that person should be paid unless one only problem in way really. Kya utori mdula stilo wankoma yami kenegere kibua ka the overpayment or dika bodisa loki hori there is failure more the employees Canada. Such a is na ha gonsia. Ha motho a dira overpayment o togelwa hela. Go bo go itidimalwa hela. So nna ke feel our action has to be taken because madi a puso a tsama ema tshwantse gore a dire di activities tse dingwe. Ma ke eme gone ho.
Thank you so much. County officer.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I think that's CITF, which is it's quite a broad one. Just to say that the Honorable Dihwa on the situation on the ground with regard to TVET institutions. I think we will all acknowledge for a very, very long time, TVET was neglected. And it was neglected because I think it was easier to find jobs. How would you relay, more professional and academic programs, go to university. So students too were not interested, and even parents were not interested in getting their kids by go to brigades in Lego Tibet. But that situation has changed, and I think people are beginning to realize that Tibet is the future. And we are seeing a revitalized interest in Tibet now. And this is the reason why, and government has also made that realization. And this is why there's this hype, Tibet, to the extent that more the budget, I think NDP 12, 49% of the ministry's budget, 49%, for Tibet, which shows you we are really, really serious about revitalizing Tibet. And the benefits of those envisaged investments are going to take time to be realized. So we have started, Honorable Dihwa, on the revitalization. And that revitalization includes everything else that you have spoken about. The programs, they are not relevant. And we are, like we said, coming up with a Tibet policy, and we are going to come up with Tibet structures that are going to implement that, or help us implement that policy. And those structures will include, for example, curriculum boards, which boards are going to be dominated by industry. Because gone are the days when the teacher determine what must be taught is what should be determined, or what is determined by industry. And that will make sure what is taught in the classroom is relevant to the world of work. If there are changes, it's industry, it's changes. And then if we make sure that there are more influential in curriculum development for TVET, will definitely arrive there. This maintenance, because like we have said, we have a project under the BTEP, maintenance of our institutions, TVET, universities, and so forth. Most of these in the TVETs, we envisage this maintenance being carried out by the very same students, so that in the process of learning, they also gain experience, and not only experience. So it's something that definitely we are looking into. Now, with regard to the position of the director, we would have long filled that position. But as you are aware from the report I presented earlier on, there is an ongoing case involving the director or director general Wapili, and so we still have that quandary which we need to resolve. Refill a position before the case is over, refill a position, and then return separation is a decision that we'll be making very soon. But I do agree with you that it has taken too long to resolve the issue and have the position filled. Now, the issues of the ombudsman, like I indicated earlier on when I presented, we are on them. I may not recall the particular case that you mentioned, but I can assure you all cases that come to us are attended to. And if there's a case that we directed that it be resolved or the individual involved be paid and they are not paid, we will follow that up and make sure that they are paid. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We move on. You have utilized...
The deputies are very much aware about this case.
You have utilized 13 minutes instead of 10. So we are moving on, Honorable Diwa, to Honorable Tausan. Okay, Honorable Mabel? Yeah, okay. Go ahead, sir. 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, 10 minutes. I must knock. Thank you, PS. Mela PS. Error. Because I'm very interested. Old Naledi Brigade facilities, you acquired them 4 years, almost more than 4 years ago. But the facilities didn't have the What is the problem? And how much money have you spent?
Okay, thank you. Let me defer to my colleagues here. I'm not aware of that situation.
Are you 10 minutes?
No, I think it's something that we look into, Chair.
Yes, you're not aware.
Yes.
Yes, you're not aware of your own ministry. Okay, sir. Because staff from Naledi Brigade in CITF. You're still not aware.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Yes. Do you know how many students were admitted to Kozolopili Brigade Center? Or how many students on average admitted to Kozolopili Brigade Center per annum, per year? Are you aware of that number?
No, Chair.
Okay, that one I have. Let me help you. Let me try and be PS. But anyway, last year, Kozolopili Brigade Center, 182. 1,451. which means admission is 9% of the applicants. 91% are loitering in the street. Meanwhile, you have many facilities that are not functioning. You have many facilities. These are in PS. I'm sorry, PS. You are failing us, PS. Do you know how many facilities you have? 37 functional. The old ones and the new ones. Are you aware of such? The facilities are how di kgologolo tse di acquirileng tsa bo di brigade jalo jalo le tse di ntšha tse di agilweng tse di sa berekeng.
That is a very king, I would not say, but I think just to respond to your query, Honorable, which is a valid query, I think we have made it clear in our presentation. Or indeed, for a very long time, very, very long time, this is not a new problem. TVET was completely neglected.
Yes. The president of this country, Gideon Boko, we should not praise problems. You come here to praise problems, Pierce. You have come here to account. You are the accounting officer. I'm really trying to be cool. I've been cool over the last 2 days, Pierce. You are making me a little bit uncomfortable, Pierce. You are making me very uncomfortable. Because banaba they are just sitting at home, no income, no training, nothing. This is an indication across the country. You know how many students are sitting at home, but it's Form 3, to the bricklaying. Meanwhile, you are not aware of anything, Pierce. I am not happy, but I'm really not happy, sir. At least give me hope. What is your plan? Now that you have brought this to our attention, or in relation to Kafonso Arabakating, what is your plan to turn this thing around?
Thank you, Honorable. Like I said, we have a very robust plan to turn this situation around, which has been around for a very long time. It would be pretentious of me to give a definitive answer to your question more the Tswelelo Brigade intake. But I would say to you that this is a general situation that we see across our institutions. They are all operating below capacity. And it's not surprising that Kotswalelo Pili, 182 students out of 1451 who had applied were admitted, like 9%, like you did rightly indicate. And this is the situation across. And it is on the basis of this realization that we've come up with this project on revitalization of TVET. So we are not bemoaning the problem, we are also providing a response to the problem. And I did indicate, Chair, that it's going to be a while before we see the fruits. But I've tried to detail some of the measures that we are taking to ensure that we increase intake TVET institutions Aruna. In actual fact, our target going forward in the long term is to have 60% of our students in tertiary education value on the TVET side, and 40% value on the academic professional side. What does this mean? It means we will have to attend to all these challenges that you are rightly pointing out.
Okay, Pierce. Yeah. Okay, Pierce. For now, I'm not convinced. Botswana has always had good plans, good strategies, only on paper. Implementation has continued to be a challenge. So you have not given me any hope. We will meet again next year, Pierce. Please, you must have and understand your ministry like this. PS. Because next year we will not be as nice. Next year we please, especially because I need to see some form of action. This thing, this benchmarking all over. Minister Atolangata Mamone, umulele, Horaimi said Loseu. Umulele, Liluna Lemi said Loseu. So that at least Lebaka Yedikolose, Banaba, we are bricklaying at least. Something. Please, sir. Arbueka, this CITF, the executive management, by 26%, the good claim whole life, but I go to Karabaha. By 26% last year, April, 26%. Kolomo, who approved le Kimang, I kill Lunago ministering le body abone, bile, why no local is the executive management Illinois.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me defer the question to my colleague who deals with HR issues.
Okay. Thank you very much. The 26% increment was approved by the former board, that organization. And there was also the 25% which was supposed to be for management. Okay. So what has happened is that because of the issue with budget, tota intention and management, but that thing has since been put on hold because it's something saying yes, it will.
DPS, do you see how unfair this is? How is it possible for Madia thing for executive management and it's not there? Budget there is not sufficient for Wabokutas. Wabana hore this culture, continues under your watch. Was it approved by the ministry? Lunago ministry, did you not see this as something which is not right? Why didn't you stop it?
No, because when I say management has a ministry who approve. Get the board. So body organize the ministry very inform you hell. Me anon se si ragatsing ke gona gore last year gore budget in ya letlelela ke ra gore the budget as dingwa hantsi di tsamayana gora gore ne le ya kgaoga kana ya hokudiwa.
Okay. Na kwa me ya fela ke kopatle ke go emise the body e tlophiwa ke mang. Somebody must be above this board. You can't tell me your body ke modimo ke kentse o kentseng I buile nobody can change it. How can you come here and say that body e appointwa ke manye?
Yeah, body honorable member of parliament. Hona le tsamaiso e leng gona gore ba tlhophia ka yone. Mme bila ka re buana in fact that board ga etsa tlhola ile teng ka gona gore CITF ke gona ke ra gore gona le the new transition. E leng gona gore yana e tlhokana le gore go tle go dirwa ditsamaiso tse di sha tse di tlo go hella ndi appoint a new board. E leng gona gore gongwe e tla re over time e hetole dingwe tsone tse o buang ka tsone. But at the moment we are constrained because ha gona sepe thing. That board
ke go botsa body e tlhophwa ke mang?
Appointment ya board ya CITF ine dirwa ke minister. Ine dirwa ke minister ba etene. But like re bua kana mola o changeile gompieno ja ka re bua ya. It's no longer the strategy is no longer what it used to be. Gompieno ke yone rapid skills development. So it's like the new regulations. It's le ngwana gore le yone appointment ya board ya go nna different.
Yeah, basically the minister Maele has failed to do his duty, container this illegal act, this unfairness, because you cannot come here and tell me, body, P.S. I'm quite unhappy with your ministry. I'm quite unhappy. Please, sir, they are looking and depending on you. They are looking and depending on me and you. Stop focusing on these things. Do things that are practical. The simple things. This thing that will not do anything. Just some more revamp the facilities. TTC. In the fair right receive. 91% of these students. Please say, come on. And I have every confidence in you, Professor.
Thank you, Honorable. Hey, kgang e ya di-facility tse di sa berekeng e builwe ke honorable Digwa ko tshimologong. Honorable Mabeo ntse o bua ka yone. Old Naledi, CITF, ha e bereke. According to Honorable Digwa, Molopo, CITF, ha e bereke. Sojwe, CITF, ha e bereke, according to Honorable Digwa. Kakia, CITF, ha e dire, according to them. Go supagala gape gore tse di dirang di CITF tse gompieno di tla turn into rapid skills training. Tse dingwe go lebega bontsinyana ja tsone ga ngwe di offera course e le nngwe hela kgotsa tse pedi, so they are underutilized. So ne ke re mo PS, one of the things you want to do from here is just to do a quick roundup of the facilities. Go itse gore tse di berekang as we speak ke dihe, tse di sa berekeng ke dihe, tse di underutilized ke dihe, tse e leng gore they are fully utilized ke dihe. We would be very interested in the report of that nature because you are not aware or so I think make a follow-up on those. We continue. Honorable Mutausani.
Good afternoon, Prof. Na ga ke na go se ingalo go gore ba putsitse ga go arabesega in quite a number of issues he raised. Me nka botsa gore tota se se dirang gore if an institution e simolotse ebile go na le gone gore tshwantse gore nne le dipalo tse di kae mo sekolong e be di sa nne teng hela just like that. Like for instance ke ha se kae ha o tsa yone e ko Thamaga, they are offering only 3 courses, but they were supposed to offer 9 courses. Tota problem ke nya gore these other courses le tsone di tsene into place di gone gore bana ba ithute dilo tse dintsi tse di harologanyeng, because how leba this, it would even help government go spend madi I spend mo di contracting ba dira bo di maintenance around the facilities tsa government hela ka bontsi. So why are we keeping that low numbers le gone o ka re focus tsela mo bo bricklaying, otherwise tse dingwe tse o ka re ga rena sepeletso. So ne ke re hela ke botse gore keng di facilities tsena di le underutilized like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. I think I'll keep on harping on this issue, revitalization. We do acknowledge all these challenges, that these challenges have been here and here for a long time. But we have not sat back and said these problems have been here for a long time, there's nothing we can do about it. We've put across a robust intervention through the BTAP of revitalizing TVET. And this revitalization will address exactly the issues that honorable members are raising. There are a number of reasons why these institutions didn't roll out. I think one of them has to do, you have to look at the history of these institutions. Ghana, the brigade, the communities. And when they were taken over, staff, in terms of qualifications, they cannot, and not just so that you cannot run all the courses that you would have wanted to run, more programming. And there are other problems related, reasons for this below capacity performance of these institutions. The other day, I went to one of them, and I realized that it's a problem actually across all these institutions. Now, this institution, to be precise, Cesar Francis Town Technical College, was built mandate to offer diploma and possibly degree programs. And it's a beautiful facility. go dariwa equipment, procuring equipment for diploma programs. Now, only for the institution to deviate from its original mandate, we offer diploma programs, we offer certificate programs, making that equipment redundant, very expensive equipment redundant, is there. 20 years, high school operating, and so forth. Not because they can, simply because there was a deviation from the mandate of the institution. We offer a certificate there. A certificate doesn't require those machines. So what are we doing now? So these are the challenges that we've identified. And we are saying we have to rectify this. And we are putting across this robust intervention through the BTEP of revitalizing TVET. Ramutasa.
Ke a utlwa prof, but ga ke tse gore go change puso go ra gore le dilo tse le gore ne di re berekela ko morago re be re hela ka gore go no go na le banneng ba dira yanong we are clearing everything se ba se dirile. I don't think we need to go that route. You know, when you talk of brigades, when you talk of CITF, ke ipotsa gore ke eng gona le go nte ke hese guy. Most of the lectures baba go CITF and some other banne ba tsoko di brigades tse dingwe tse ne di le teng di tsewa mo community. Those guys bane ba nunwehetse go ruta ibile ba producer maduo a bonala. But all of a sudden those people are redundant, they are not working. Me ba kore ba redundant diana lona ka hana le sena batho. Are we saying we are literally closing these institutions? No gona le batho ba ba ka rutang ka gore mongwe le mongwe o ka ruta at a level qualifier. For instance, if you teach somebody a certificate, obviously motho wa diploma tota even wa certificate ya lana le experience e rileng wa ruta. So why couldn't we take it gradually ka di steps ya tse di ta irang gore di lete gore mongwe le mongwe o ntseng a le ho se tengana le experience ya go nalo a tswelle a ruta? Or are we saying dituto tse bana ba ba ntseng ba di bona go di brigade tsena di seditse ke puso in a setson kra gore there has to be a separation mo di karabonts ha ile gore ba ntse ba sa tsise the relevant skills le go tlhalosa ha ile gore batho bao ba teng ba dira kra gore dilo tsa bo brickwork ga ke bone gore e tlhoka motho ope ona le ditlankana tse di hitang certificate. And bana ba they are idling because my teacher the lectures tell gore di ne di lo go filwa gore le mmitse gore ke lecturer wa nnenyane gore bana le degree kana diploma or what have you. So nane kere gongwe a go di kgaoganye prof re tlhaloganya gore tota ga te go iragala eng, because you cannot expect ngwana o ang go dira certificate e be le gore o expect gore aba ka rutwa ke motho o dirileng e degree hela. Why is it so?
Thank you, Honorable. Honorables, ke buile thata ka capacity constraints gore gongwe re tsaya bana ba le ba se kalokalo mo institutioneng ka gore gongwe a re na yone capacity le tsone di resources ka gore tota for a long time ne re sa tse TVET tsie. Mme gape go na le the other side of the equation ya gore tota le bone bana ba ntse ba sena yone interest mo tsone di brigades. I was talking to someone in Northwest, in one of the villages where there is a brigade. Arigana brigade is operating below capacity. because ga gona bana yet bana ba teng mo motseng. In other words, they have no interest. So it works both ways. Government making sure there's provision in terms of infrastructure and human resources. But on the other side, the community, law encourage abana to enroll in these institutions. One really interest more these institutions. Now, if an institution is similar, it run 4 programs. There is no enrollment. Meet total resources deleted. Those programs close down, and we end up in this situation. So I think I'm just simply saying we need to balance this and not be loop-sided. The government is not doing enough. But how much are we doing as communities to interest students in these programs? But I'm happy, like I said earlier on. Now, the conditions of existence have changed.
Procedure, Chair. Procedure, Chair. Hakisi, kana, Chair.
Honorable Kikhonereng, I wish you granted procedure. It's a.
Thank you. O ta intshwarela Chair. O ta intshwarela go tsena ganong Prof. Yaanong kana ke re ha o buile yalo mo setšhabeng gore brigade bongwe ko Northwest a bona bana. Yaanong to ha ena o ka re rona ko Northwest le brigade le di technical college ha re tsamaisane. But kganya teng e tona hela ke gore gongwe modi wa kgang e le gore tota brigade ha ba bone mosola yone mo go bone because ba tsena bo mogolo a bone ba tsene bo monna a bone ba tsena bana ba tsena ba ta gona le lo bereka mo go bone maybe hape mo ba go tshwere mo hape le gone it's not worth go bata tiro ke ra re ke tsone di shutse me hela gone che ha go re gore ya no go tseiwe bana go sele ba go tsena go di brigade tsa Northwest ka gore ha le gore ya no le toka ha di tsela toka hala ha bana ba Northwest chance are ba tsene mo di brigade technical college tsa bona rather than mo baneng ba le 100 ba le 5 e be le gona ba tswa mo Northwest ha go a siama to khantle na o ka re anong ga se gona.
Okay, 1000 your minute.
I'm done.
Oh, you are done.
The objective of a brigade is not all about go dira batho gore ba nne employable. Ba bangwe they can be self-employed. So na tota ga ke dumalane le dikgang di karabo tse di supang ka o ka re intake ga e nnete bana ba tletse ko mebileng kwana ba re tshwenya tota gore kante se ka ye ko thamaga ba nna ba botsela gore ke eng go offerwa dikhosi di le tharo le ha le bodiredi bwa teng bo a ngongorega gore kana we are being underutilized. So nna ne ke kopa gore let's balance the issue ya teng le gore bana bone ba batla go dira eng.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Still getting advice from technical advice. Honorable Lesedi.
Mr. Chairman, can I have 10 minutes?
Erra.
Oh, yeah, make it a miris. Total Niki, ke batla gore ke kope PS. Kore mo di karabong tsa ntseng a di gantsinyana o ka re o ganela thata mo go defending. Ona le mo gore nga lebe khanka bophara gore ya mo putso ya bohelo ene e botswe ke Honorable Motausana kana o ganeletse mo goreng ga bana capacity mme a re bue mo seemong se eleng gore bana ba ata ka dipalo e be le gore ga ba gare ga ba tseo jaaka tota hela ha re re bona gore bana ga ba tseo gongwe re buele le mo seemong sone seo na o di understand ha ne le gore o di leba dintha tsotlhe seng gore o se ka mathata PS a re dumele ha gore o ka re mo maphateng hela o thaga across the board o bereka ka di 80 tota go iragalang PS mathata ke eng batho ba le berekang ka bone ba galena confidence mo go bone or what ka gore gongwe le gongwe a o tsenang teng kana wa ko di-collegeng kana wa ka in all departments tseo mo go tsone ke di 18 hela a ko le lebe seemo se ka mabaka a go tokagatsa e seng gore jaanong be le gore batho ba actetse ruri hela ga ba bone diphata a ke tsora ke di tsenyetso tota di araba at once ke akanya gore go botoka yalo
I think that will still be fine.
di transfer di ka PS le berekisa batho ka lebaka le le go sena di transfer ha o tsamaya mo di colleges le dikwele tse dingwe di institutions tse dingwe yala tota o ta ithela gore like ha o ya ko make ya se ka ihela go moto ska to wa ke tahalwa ke dikgantse ha o ya ko Soroya College wa go itela gona le batho ba setseng ba na le bo 18 years ba ntse ba le mo Soroya College tota yala mathata ke eng gore le transfere ha go kgonagalang teng batho le bone ba change environment a me o lemogile PS gore moral wa ma lecturer bontsi jana ko tlase me le gore o lemogile gore o ko tlase le ira eng ka seemo sa le kile la conduct sepe study go bona gore seemo se se ka bo se dirwa ke me gongwe re santse re le ho PS ke dumela gore mo dikganyeng tse bontsi jana ko batho tege ba di boditseng ha tseo sena dikarabo tsa tsone o lemoga gore o taro go di batisisa e tere bogolo mo next city o re he dikarabo tse ka gore ke dikgantse di leng teng gongwe di seka tsa toga tsa hetelela tsa toga tsaya go sele mme ko nteng ga moo ke ta kopa gore o arabe tsone tseo. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Kita similar ka yone ya the acting appointments. Yes, indeed, the acting appointments the thing, and they are also a concern to ourselves, and we have deliberately set out to make sure we radifila. I had here my list of all those acting appointments and what is being done. Some have made recommendations. I the executive Canada PSP Kappa. We have made those recommendations. Le tsediteng hela good institution. Litsone radifila. We have recently filled Ako Tonota College, Lea Francistown Technical College, those have been filled, and we are busy processing for other institutions, IHSs, and so forth, and we hope for it in the not so distant future. Dita filiwa. This is always a continuous process. Before they can be replaced, someone will have to act. But we do acknowledge acting for too long, acting for a very long time, is not the right thing to do. So we are working on that, Honorable. On the issues of transfer, I think I'll leave that to my colleague to respond to.
Yame, thank you. Generally, kana di transfer di rogo ka nna gabedi. Mongwe a ikopela go ntshiwa ha leng teng ka mabaka a tla beng ena na lone kana tiro yone e patika gona gore mongwe a tsamaele ko. So mo ministry wa rona kana tsamaiso ya rona re sala morago ke yone e leng gona gore ha gona le mabaka a patikang gore mongwe tiro e tshwantse madi mo ise kwa ya teng ko ra mo transfer mme gone le ha go ntse jalo ba bangwe ba tla ba ikopela ka mabaka a bona a selegae a etsa gongwe le re mosadi wa gagwe a lwala kana e le mosadi a batla go isa bana ba go sekweleng go gongwe ke thulaganyo e leng gona gore re dira nako le nako ga e ke re nna le bothata le go thusa batho ka ditsela tse di ntseng jalo. So ke tsa gore we are handling them quite well.
Mo ya moral, Chair. Yes, I've had representations from staff. More issue ya moral or moral ukotasi and mabaka Tota this is a multifaceted issue. Mabaka a mantsi moralo ko tla se gore ka tswa ile eng. Ba bangwe ke dituelo. Ba bangwe tota ke gone gore they are stagnant. They've been stagnant for a very, very long time in one position. That is bound to be a source of disquiet for many. And we are aware of that. But we are also constrained by the fact that this pyramidal structure, as a public service, is inherently limiting. But I'm told there was once, I think, a report, Pemando report on which sought to tackle that. I may have to make follow-ups on where it is. But it's a problem that has been with the civil service, I think, for a very long time. Even internally, our processes, people will be complaining about promotions, whatever promoting, this and that. Now, we are looking into those issues as I speak with my colleagues. At least really some criteria for promotion. They're very transparent. But this is how it was conducted. And we have an assignment being carried out by the HR department on that. That will go a long way in boosting morale. If people know who have not been promoted because thank you.
Lona mea o lebile PS go taletsa nako e kae go bole we editse that exercise.
Tota is not vindicated to my colleagues. It's not a very big exercise because we are building on what already exists, just trying to make things transparent. So we expect, or even before the end of the year, we would have come up with those criteria, at least for our ministry. But those criteria will not be deviating from the public service, the scheme of service or whatever that guides promotions, more ministering. But they will be such that, for example, just to give you an example, promotion ya mutu, who consider your performance over time, and some psychometric, I think, tests, 30D wrong. Determination our promoter or not. The psychometric where we seem to be disregarding performance over time. That's unfair. So these are the things internally as a ministry we can work on and see how they are balancing. And they can go a long way in building confidence in our systems. Thank you.
Kalova, honorable member, Maki, ki wotse dilemalo nyala mi kitale ka gonna mokutshwane tota mi dilemalo. Yantla prof ke ya mam BTEP. BTEP ke program Minister of Finance are bolelang ka yone ka metla mibila supa gore mo nakong ya dingwaga di se ka nyana e ta bo e dirile ditiro di ka tshwara 512,000 yaanong o tswa me ke gore di programe tsa BTEP tse di mo tertiary education or higher education ke dihe a di setse di simolotse ha di simolotse re solala ditiro tse di kae go tswa mo go lona tse leng gore go di ta forma part of the 512,000 jobs ke ya ntha eo ya bobedi ke gore go puentsi ka TVET mo bogompienong gongwe motho ka batla go itse gore ya ka re bua ya rene TVET what is the interface between basic education and TVET go simololo ha kae go basic education go tsa eta bo etsana hela go higher education go ngore ka etse ka gore ba ngone ite ba kae gore ha o simolla thulaganyo ya TVET gora gore ya no tshwentse gape wa lebella basic education o gore ka etso ka le ya ka ntseng ka le ya ka nyang ka te gompieno le ya ka nyeditse ha kae gore ta o simolla yang interface ya teng e leng mme go ngwe motho a botse gape gore ka gore go na le batho ba le bantsi ba ba traineng mme di-skills tsa bone di supagala gore they are irrelevant to the current market. A mme le bone go na le channel e ba ka tsenang mo TVET ka yone go leka go itokagatsa gape gore batho ba nne relevant to the economy. Ke re ke nngwe ya dipotso tse neng ke re ke di botse. Mo nako e hitileng re ntse re sugasugana le kgang e go teng ke ya International Aviation School. A ke tsora wa itse mme ha o itse nko re neele lesedi la gore tota kgang e tsamaya kae a go lebega re ka bona sengwe mo teng kgotsa bone ba ta bona sengwe mo go rona. Ya bogelo ke dikgang tse pedi tse di amang BUST tse ebile o supile gore ta di addressa ko Auditor General. Ya ntlha ke variation ya scope ya an amount close to R1 million e ne lebega e sa authorize-iwa. Ya bobedi ke amount of about 1 million as well e leng gore le yone e tsamaelana le some unwarranted expenditure. Ke re le tsone o heta ka tsone o re dinele motho tse re tlhaloganye gore re tsamaya kae ka dikgang tsa mofuta one o. Ke a leboga. How many minutes? 2 minutes. You have 8 minutes to answer my questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair. Now, mo khaing ya BTEP. BTEP mo rona ina le, I think 3 projects, projects that we intend embarking upon. Yanta kia the construction and maintenance of facilities. The intention is to maintain all our institutions, the universities, technical colleges, and colleges of education, bring them up to standard. And the focus is going to be on maintenance more than on construction, because I think we all accept our facilities are in a state of disrepair, most of them. So it is hoped, and I'm sorry, Chair, I cannot quantify the number of jobs that will be created, but surely this will create a lot of jobs. I cannot quantify that at this moment. I think it's on when the projects have been laid out very clearly that we will have an idea of the numbers that this project will contribute to the 500,000 jobs that you mentioned.
But clearly, PS, High Lord Minister anticipate 512,000 jobs. Can lebaka le lirle le lona le tshwantse bo gongwe le na le sedi la gore mme lona contribution ya lona e nna bokae mo 512,000.
Have that at the moment, Chair. I think this will be coming once we have our projects well laid out, and then we should be in a position to have an idea how many jobs will be created through those. Next one on the interface between TVET and basic education. I think we all appreciate we are a relatively new an organization as a ministry, and we are still trying to establish ways of working together with the ministry that we separated with, our basic education, and we are in conversations with the ministry on how we interface, particularly TVET, because Libone banally elements of TVET kotasikwa. So we need to establish ways of interfacing, and we have initiated consultations on how we can interface on those, but they haven't taken any form that I would consider reportable to this committee at the moment. And then only you indicate they were produced, but tota ga bana the skills tse di rileng it's something that, as a ministry, we are looking into. Recently, we approved, I think, the amount of around 7 million from the Human Resource Development Fund, or HRDC, to go towards root-tooling youth. But train, but they are not marketable. Root-tooling them with a view, they can go into the job market. It's a truism, Chair Hori. There is a skills deficit. You talk to the mines, they will tell you, Hori, skilled manpower. And yet, Banaki Baba train graduates at our institutions and are finding employment. And one reason why we are in conversations right now with the Komekau mine, and let's say the mining sector in general, is exactly on that. And this is why tomorrow we are flying to Maung to concretize this relationship. They can establish a center of mining. What that center will do, graduate so that they can go into these mines and do work, because the mining sector is complaining. So a number of efforts are being made to make sure they are not necessarily by higher education because they are outside the system. They are also assisted because we believe we have a role to play in that regard. Yeah, as Chair, I'm aware of it, and we have it here. Total, your name. I don't know whether I should read it out for you.
Yes.
Yeah, to get it clear, very clear. It says,